Hello everyone, the company we are going to introduce today is IBM. In the past 100 years, the world economy has continued to develop, and modern science has changed with each passing day. IBM has always led the development of the global information industry with advanced technology, excellent management, and unique products, ensuring that all-round demand for information processing is needed by almost all industry users worldwide. There are three main topics we are going to discuss today. First, some general description and history about IBM. Second, IBM's stated policy regarding social responsibility. Finally, IBM's social actions. IBM was founded in 1911 Endicott, New York, now headquartered in Armonk. And IBM now has 126 office locations across 96 countries as well. Thomas J. Watson and Charles Ranlett Flint are the founders of IBM. IBM is the world's largest information technology and business solutions company, with nearly 400,000 employees and $100 billion in assets. It's one of the best and most successfully managed companies in the world. Although IBM is a commercial company, it also has high achievements in the fields of materials, chemistry, physics, and other sciences. It uses these academic researches as a basis to invent many products. The most famous products invented by IBM included hard disk drives, ATMs, Universal Product Codes, SQL, and the Relational Database Management System.
In 1911, Charles Flint amalgamated a manufacturing company, a computing company, a tabulating company, and a recording company into the Computing Tabulating Recording Company, CTR. 3 years later, Thomas Watson became the president for CTR. He would be the one to change the name to IBM. Watson would conduct unprecedented managerial decisions such as heavily investing in the education of the employees and spreading the company to several countries. Even through the Great Depression, Watson would continue to spend on research and production and refuse to reduce the workforce, unlike other companies during the Depression. This made IBM one of the main contractors for FDR's New Deal, especially with implementing the Social Security Act. In 1956, Arthur Samuel from IBM created a machine learning program to play checkers. This is believed to be the first artificial intelligence program. Stemming from this project, IBM would later develop Deep Blue, an AI chess program that would eventually beat Garry Kasparov, the world chess champion at the time. IBM worked with NASA in '65 to implement navigation computers on the Gemini mission. IBM would continue to work with NASA to send Americans to the moon. Today, IBM is still working to develop new products for businesses and countries, and are serving in 177 countries across the globe.
IBM addresses its responsibilities to the environment, community, suppliers, investors, and employees. It has multiple energy conservation and climate protection programs that have been ongoing for decades. In 2019, IBM was able to reduce its total energy consumption by 4.5%. The environment being its most significant stakeholder, IBM emphasizes on sustainability to ensure that it gradually reduces its impact on nature. The aim of IBM's community corporate responsibility is to support community development through entrepreneurship, enterprise, and workforce development. It also offers its technologies to help community-based organizations and other nonprofits such as community housing needs and social services for sustainable development. IBM addresses the environmental and social responsibility aspects of the company's global supply chain, which includes more than 12,000 members. Its social responsibility strategy involves providing technical support for suppliers to improve their operational efficiencies and making sure all levels of the supply chain comply with its policies. Since 2004, IBM has conducted 2,078 full-scale audits on its suppliers to ensure compliance. Finally, the company realizes that employees are significant in determining its capabilities to maintain its competitive edge in the tech industry. In 2019 alone, IBM has invested more than $452 million on employee education. IBM's corporate social responsibility policy includes fair hiring practices, competitive compensations, and inclusive programs that raise employee morale and minimize workplace conflict.
On their website splash page, IBM boasts a cumulative 1.3 million hours of volunteer work by so-called IBMers, and over $728 million worth in contributions of technology donations, all in 2019 alone. These broad strokes are very impressive, even at face value, but taking a closer look at the individual actions illustrates more precisely to what extent IBM takes social responsibility seriously. One of the more recent programs which IBM has been making a sustained effort towards is to use their influence to aggressively combat social injustices such as systemic racism. Some actions they've made specifically include publicly pressuring Congress into writing stronger protections into hate crime legislation and matching donations to anti-discrimination charities. IBM has also intentionally cultivated diversity within their own corporation, claiming that 87% of their employees feel themselves to be authentic during work. Looking further into the future, IBM has also taken firm stances against the abuse of technology in society. IBM has acted in this regard by joining in the national dialogue discussing the proper place of AI in mass surveillance and law enforcement. In doing so, they hope to push forward public policy which further protects the rights of citizens. From another angle, IBM has also been investing in technological future by training students nationwide and offering apprenticeship programs in underserved areas of the U.S. Lastly, IBM is proud to have been working to help the environment for over 30 years. Each year, IBM publishes a separate yearly report on the positive environmental impacts it has contributed towards. Some of the most impressive actions taken include the elimination of toxic materials such as CFCs, taking a public stance on climate change, conserving nearly 7.7 million megawatt hours of electricity since 1990s, drawing nearly 47% of their electricity from renewable resources, and recycling nearly 89% of their non-hazardous waste. It is worth noting, however, that social responsibility has not always played the central role in many companies that it seems to play in today's corporate world. Looking backwards to the 20th century, we can see that IBM has a dark history. IBM had conducted business dealings with the Nazi regime during World War II, effectively aiding, facilitating, and profiting from the Holocaust by selling their tabulation equipment.
To sum up, starting off as 4 separate companies in 1911, IBM has grown to become one of the largest service providers of business computing products. From helping America climb out of the Great Depression to sending astronauts to the moon, IBM has helped the world by driving progress. IBM also has many stated policies regarding social responsibilities in 5 aspects: environment, communities, suppliers, investors, employees. These policies have helped IBM's business positively. IBM has clearly made social responsibility one of the priorities of their modern brand. Their activism includes subjects spanning from social justice to the responsible usage of technology, as well as a strong sense of environmentalism. Even though IBM had a dark past for working with Nazis during World War II, their current actions at least seem to show an element of social progress, which helps to pave for us a way towards a more hopeful future. It seems like IBM had a newfound sense of social responsibility after World War II. In conclusion, I think IBM is ahead of its time. IBM has reinvented itself multiple times since its founding in 1911. Currently, IBM is at a phase to recreate itself again. It strives to transform from an information technology company into a cloud company to compensate for the growing concern of declining revenue. Cloud computing's market has grown rapidly. It was $5.82 billion in 2008, and it is projected to be $236 billion in 2020. In addition, IBM started to work on artificial intelligence with the development of a supercomputer nicknamed Watson. The global artificial intelligence market size was valued at $39.9 billion in 2019, and it is expected to grow at a compound annual growth rate of 42.2% from 2020 to 2027. The growth of the cloud computing market and artificial intelligence might give IBM a chance to thrive again. In addition, Microsoft had a similar transition from traditional software to the cloud in 2005, and it succeeded. Therefore, we think in 10 years, IBM might be in the same place where Microsoft is currently in, due to a huge market of cloud computing and artificial intelligence. Also, we think that in 20 years, IBM will still maintain its relevance due to its willingness to constantly reinvent itself towards the development of technology.